Hi, I'm Victoria with Amalfi Estates, and today we're going to talk about the current appraisal landscape. Okay, so in today's market, appraisals are becoming a pretty interesting factor of the transaction, so I wanted to take some time to discuss what's happening and what we're doing to handle it. With such an active residential market right now, appraisals are becoming really important because when there's a ton of demand, we're seeing properties get multiple offers and go way over asking. So you as a buyer may be wholeheartedly able and willing to pay a certain price for a property, but the bank is going to send in their third-party appraiser who's going to come in and try to justify the price paid. Hopefully they agree with you, but in a landscape that is changing so dramatically fast as it is right now, they may not be fully caught up and you may get an appraisal that comes in under value. Because that's a scenario that's happening more and more, we're seeing a few things happen. First, in multiple offer situations, we're often seeing a seller dramatically shorten or ask you to remove your appraisal contingency altogether. Now, as a buyer, you're always able to only do what you're comfortable with. However, if you're competing with 6 other offers and other people are willing to remove their appraisal contingency, it may become somewhat of a requirement for you to do that to be able to compete. Removing your appraisal contingency as a buyer means a few things. One, primarily it means that you are willing as a buyer to pay the difference should your appraisal not come in at value. Removing your appraisal contingency is always something you're going to want to discuss with your agent. And there's certain things that you guys can do, that we often do, that can protect you even if you are removing that contingency to make sure you're not in a position where you're not comfortable. I'm happy to discuss those strategies with you offline anytime, but what I'm going to focus on today are the things that we can do should that happen while you're already in escrow. Number one, it's super important to know your comps. Because the market is changing so quickly and appraisers aren't always necessarily super familiar with the area of the property that they're appraising, it's really important for your agent to represent you and fully inform the appraiser of what's going on. You want to do this in a way that's very sensitive to the fact that this is their job and that this is what they're hired to do. So you don't want to, step on anyone's toes, but at the same time, it's our job to educate them about what the landscape was, what the situation was that got you into escrow at this price, and what the comps are around the market. As agents, we're gonna have a lot more information about what's going on. We're gonna know what properties got into escrow for what price and what they found during the transaction that caused them to maybe do a price reduction if they found significant issues. All that stuff is gonna impact the way your property is being valued because a comp doesn't tell the full story. So it's really important for us to be there, be informed. I always prep for my appraisals. I show up and I try to discuss as much as possible with the appraiser in a way that's very collaborative so that they want to work with you. If you do all of that and you still have an appraisal that doesn't come in at value, you can try to go back and have a discussion with the appraiser. 9 times out of 10, we find that they are unwilling to change their position. So just know that, but it is definitely something that you can try to do. The next thing you can do is look at what is pending on the market. So pending means a property has removed all contingencies and is about to close, but is still in escrow. Why that's really important is you could have a comp closing in a few days that could totally change the valuation of your property. Unfortunately, appraisers usually only look at properties that have already closed. So if something is about to close and is a sure thing, we call the other agent, we get the information, and we make sure to share that with the appraiser because that could dramatically change the outcome of your appraisal. On that same note, if you know that a property is closing that's going to be a really important comp for you, wait to schedule your appraisal until the day after so that the appraiser can use that property and can see it active as a closed sale prior to doing their report. Lastly, and this is obviously not ideal because it's a lot of extra work, but you can always try to start over with a new lender. You'll have to go through the approval process one more time. They'll send out a new appraiser, but sometimes a set of fresh eyes with a different perspective can be all that you need to get your property in at value. I hope this was helpful. We're really exhausting all options to make sure that our buyers are getting the appraisals that they need on their purchases. So Please, if you or anyone you know has any questions, give me a call or email me anytime at victoria@amalfiestates.com. Have an amazing day.